and entertainment.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Good Morning Vail on TV 8. I am your host, Liz. It is Tuesday morning. Get ready for a nice, big, hot day. We are going to learn some things about skincare, and we have a very special guest today to show us some beautiful artwork. If you're ready for the big morning show, sit back, relax, grab a coffee or a donut or something fun like that and enjoy, because Good Morning Vail starts right now.
Things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Welcome to the TV8 Weather Center. Let's take a look at our day. We have so much sunshine to talk about, and today your high is going to be 83 degrees. Nice and hot day, and we're going to have lots of blue skies today. Not much cloud action at all. By 8 a.m. it'll be 59 degrees. Lots of great stuff going on. Look at this. The whole day is filled with sunshine and clear skies this evening. By noon, 76 degrees. By 4 p.m., 81 degrees. Sunny skies throughout. By 8 p.m., 71 degrees. With clear skies, you get to do a lot of stargazing tonight. Taking a look over in Eagle today, 89 degrees and sunny. Vail, sunny and 83. Over in Denver, it's 99 degrees. That's why our friends from Denver come over here to the mountains. And then 85 degrees in Avon with a 50% chance of precipitation. Now we're going to take a look over at the I-70 corridor, passing that throughout the entire week. Wednesday, sunny skies, 83 degrees and 52 for your low. And then on Thursday, sunny skies again, 86 degrees for your high, 55 degrees for your low. As we head on over to Friday, partly cloudy skies roll in, 85 degrees, 55 degrees for your low. And then we can expect a little bit of precipitation by Saturday, 30% chance of same. Partly cloudy skies, 82 degrees for your high and 54 degrees for your low. Then by Sunday, a little bit more rain, 40% chance of precipitation. Afternoon, 83 degrees for your high and 52 degrees for your low. That's a look at your weather. Back with more Good Morning Vail after this.
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to
Mitch English and Andrea Jackson have co-hosted together for over a decade. And now, only on Daily Flash, they serve up a fast, fun, fresh perspective on the day's trending news and entertainment. Daily Flash offers the latest in pop news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, wellness, and even some unscripted, irreverent, who knows what's next fun. Daily Flash with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Trending news and entertainment.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to the show. It is Good Morning Vail on TV8, your Tuesday edition. I'm your host, Liz. Now, we have a great interview to show you right now, and if you love trains and all the fun and excitement that goes along with it, well, all aboard for this interview coming up next.
We are here at the Leadville Railroad with Sean, the conductor and engineer. Sean, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing great. So you just took us around on the Leadville Railroad here. Tell us a little bit about how Leadville Railroad got started.
Yeah, so Leadville Railroad got its start back in 1987. So local Leadville people by names of Ken and Stephanie Olson purchased the line from Burlington Northern, now BNSF. At the time, the line was dormant, and they're like, hey, you're not using it, maybe we can use it for a tourist train. Doing so gave some jobs to some people in town. It was kind of hard times at the time. So they started up. They worked at that deal in December of 1987, got the line, 2 locomotives, and a bunch of freight cars for $10. Just kind of a tax write-off for Burlington Northern. And by May of 1988, we were running passenger trains. We've been running every single summer since. This past winter was our second winter of winter operations. And yeah.
So let me ask you a little bit about that. How does winter operations get started, and how different is that from the summer operations?
Sure. So our summer operations are a typical 10 and 2 p.m. departure all summer long. And how we got our start in the winter operations is here in the middle of Leadville. We're kind of in the middle of Colorado. We got all the ski areas off to the north and all that. But as Colorado's grown and the tourism industry has expanded and all that, we're realizing there's more and more people up here in the winters. It's not just dead all winter long. And so we're like able to take advantage of that. And so it was a multi-year process to kind of get into the flow of things. We had to convert some freight cars into passenger cars, fully insulated, fully heated and all that. We had to get some equipment that we can use specifically to clear the line of snow, everything like that. You can see we have a plow on our locomotive, but that's only good to 2 to 3 foot. And obviously that's a bit of diesel fuel to plow the line. But we have other stuff that uses less fuel. And so that's kind of what it takes. And this past winter was really good. We're really looking forward to this coming winter, and we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. So what all entails the engineering portion of the thing? I imagine you don't have to do too much steering.
No, the tracks do all the steering for us, thankfully. That'd be a bit complicated, 300 tons of metal to steer around. So really as an engineer, you're in charge of speed and direction. We're on a hill the whole way, we got 2%. And as an engineer, you're in charge of the movement of the train. The conductor is the one in charge, so he tells the engineer when to move the train and what not to do. But the engineer is the one that actually releases the brakes, pulls out the throttle, honks the horn, all of that. And we go about 9 miles usually. Today we went an additional 1.5 miles for about 13 miles round trip, about 21 miles round trip, but normal trip's right around 18.
And that 2% grade of the rail, that's relatively steep for a train, isn't it?
Yes, that's about as steep as you want to get on a regular railroad. It's the steepest that's ever been done for a regular standard adhesion railroad. Don't quote me on this, but it was over in kind of Georgia area, is about 7%. There's some tracks over on Tennessee Pass where it's about 3-4%, but 2% is about as much as you want to do, because beyond that you got to be really good at it. So most railroads, they stick to 1.5 to 2%.
Totally makes sense. I would imagine that there's not a whole lot keeping it on the tracks there once you start going uphill, other than just that general friction. So let me ask you this. How did you get started in conducting and engineering? Is that something you go to school for, to be a train conductor or train engineer?
So typical story, always wanted to do it as a kid. Realized what it was like on the big railroads. And for the big railroads, yes, you do have to go to school. Because you interchange with other railroads where you send some cars from one railroad to another, you have to know all the different ins and outs between each railroad. and you're required to have what's called an engineer's card. Our railroad is what's called insular. We're isolated from the National Rail Network. And so because of that, we don't interchange and don't need to have an engineer's card. And so as far as getting here, I just knew the family. It was like, hey, can I come work for a summer back in 2020? And then a year later, the slot opened up for me to get trained up as an engineer. So about a year working on the train, working both in terms of the train crew and maintenance and all that. And as far as training for engineers, about 100 hours, we call it, in the seat with someone looking right over your shoulder. So.
Totally makes sense, like an apprenticeship almost.
Exactly.
Awesome. So let me ask you one more question before I let you go. What's your favorite part of working here at the Leadville Railroad?
I'd say the scenery and the people. We get people from all walks of life, whether they're from out east, from here, potential business connections, everything like that. And then also the scenery. We get full 4 seasons up here, whether it's fall like we're getting into now, or full winter or summer all year long. So,
you think the fall is really worth making the trip?
Absolutely. The whole valley turns all sorts of shades of green, yellow, orange, red, purple, or not purple, gold. It'd be kind of interesting if it was purple.
I mean, we definitely see some purple in the peaks sometimes when the light hits it just right.
Yes, we do. And then honestly, sometimes midsummer we get flowers that purple. So you never know. It's all year round.
All right. And before I let you go, can we just get one more fun fact from you?
Yeah, sure thing. So right behind us is engine 1714. She's what's called an EMD GP9. She was built in 1955. And I like to jokingly call her a giant 16-cylinder Chevy because she was built by General Motors Electromotive Division. And even though she's a locomotive and not a car, she's built by General Motors, so Chevy. But then her engine itself is 16 cylinders. Each cylinder has 567 cubic inches of displacement, so times 16, and thus giving her about a 1,750 horsepower rating.
That's absolutely incredible. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for all of the great information and everything, and I'm sure we will have to be back up to visit you guys again soon. Well, and we will be right back after a little bit more.
Good morning, Vail.
This is Necklace. This easy-to-use, non-surgical alternative improves the appearance of sagging skin around your neck and jawline. Made from medical-grade tape, Necklace lasts up to 10 hours, giving you a firmer, smoother look all day long.
This is the one that works.
Starting on one side, peel off to expose adhesive and affix it beneath your earlobe. Stretch the strip around the back of your neck until it reaches the other side. Remove the white backing from the other end of the strip and attach under the other earlobe. Go ahead and take your hair down.
Wow, look at that! Necklace really is the one that works.
Women everywhere are thrilled with the results.
Necklace is my time machine, and I'm loving life again.
Necklace is way better than surgery. It's cheaper and it's easier.
Oh wow, took like 6 years off in here.
Well, I like it. It's like a mini facelift.
Oh, it totally works.
Think I need a box or two.
Use the on-screen QR code or visit sagnomore.com to order now. We even give you a money-back guarantee. Try Necklace today.
Stevie Lee Woods presents Nashville Roadhouse Live, where country meets rock and roll.
Where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces. Join us every week for more live performances right here on Nashville Roadhouse Live.
Learn the latest in science each week and how it relates to everyday life. From space exploration to plant biology to the latest in high-tech advances. Every new scientific development is explored and explained in an understandable way. Amazing stories each week. Watch Science Now.
Daily Flash Latino. Designed for the American Latino audience, Daily Flash Latino hosts Jessica Reyes and Fabian Marcano deliver their fresh perspective on the latest entertainment news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, and more in both English and Spanish, aka Spanglish. Daily Flash Latino builds, connects, and celebrates the diverse Hispanic audience. Daily Flash Latino, trending news and entertainment with a splash of Spanglish.
You know TV8 Vail has great local content, but did you know about our production services? Hire an expert to develop your website reel, commercials, live stream events, studio production, and more. If you can dream it, we can help you do it. TV8 delivers high-quality content in both English and Spanish. Contact us today to discuss your next project. Email Danielle at tv8vail.com or call 970-628-9881.
Good morning, Vail.
Thank you for listening to all of the great things that we have going on here at TVA Vail. So many diverse programs for everybody. I'm Liz. It's Good Morning Vail on TV8, and we have a very special guest joining us right now. This is a very big award-winning Dr. Adam Friedman. Did you guys know that 9.6 American kids have eczema, and then twice as many adults have it here in America? Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm very happy to have you here. And we all are really, really interested in learning a little bit more about something that many of us don't deal with, but would like to learn about because kids come up with it and everything else. Now, we only have one set of skin on our bodies and we got to take care of it. Now, eczema is a big deal, especially during summer with all the activities, the heat, the different like humidity factors and all of that. They really do take a part and they play in people's issues. So how do we deal with that, and why are we having you here today so we can learn a lot of good stuff, right?
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a great tee up because to your point, atopic dermatitis, which is the most common form of eczema, affects millions upon millions of Americans and is extraordinarily disabling and destructive to one's quality of life, but also to one's skin. Now, this condition can look like a lot of different things across the spectrum of whether it be gender or age or even skin tones, but one unifying feature remains, which is a unique itch. And it's an itch that feels amazing to scratch, but not so amazing because that scratching makes the condition worse. And this condition, once again, being it looks like a lot of different things, can appear pink or red or purple with flaking or oozing or even blistering, and it can occur anywhere on the body. And that's why I'm here today, partnering with Arcutis to raise awareness, given how common it is, but also to talk about how we can manage it and get people feeling better in their own skin.
That's amazing, and I didn't realize how many people struggle with this. I get a mosquito bite and I scratch it and I go crazy. So I can't even imagine how uncomfortable this has to be for people. I understand that flare-ups occur with different situations, and what can we do to recognize it? You know, like for parents who have children and they start seeing these new things on their skin, what do they look for a flare-up, and how can they work on that when they do see something? Like, what's the first steps for a mom or a dad to take when they see the children with some kind of flare-up on their skin?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because, you know, first off, this is a year-round thing. There's some who do better during certain months of the year, but in general, both winter and the summer can influence this condition. In the summer, the physical heat as well as the sweating from said heat can irritate the skin and cause a flare-up, but also all the products we need to use to protect ourselves from the sun, from bugs, those two, especially on already inflamed skin, can make that worse. Now, to your point about what can a parent do when they start seeing possible signs of that flaky, red, and of course, itchy rash, and you'll see those signs of scratching, especially on a kid, which will be maybe lines of broken skin or maybe in a little crusted or scabby lesions. First and foremost is being very purposeful with bathing. So you want to think about what soap you're using, mild soaps if at all, but when the skin's flaring, no soap. Even the mildest soaps can be irritating. But most importantly, moisturizer to damp skin. It's not putting a moisturizer in dry skin that'll do the trick. You have to lock that moisture in there to really normalize the skin and help repair itself. Now, the great news for those parents and beyond is that we now have a litany of FDA-approved medications, both topical as well as ones you can take from the inside out to really target the underpinnings of disease to get these patients feeling better. The most recent one being Zoryve or Roflumilast 0.15% cream.
Okay, and that's very interesting because I'm one of those people that puts lotion on while I'm still damp from the shower, and I never knew why. But now I've learned that that's kind of a good thing. I love that we have you on here today. This is really great. So weather does affect the eczema as well as temperature and everything else. So I'm guessing in the wintertime, because you're all bundled up and you sweat underneath, that can have an effect as well. Is that correct?
It absolutely can, but also think about the dry, cold wind, and then when you're inside, the dry heat. Those will further dry the skin out. And someone with eczema, their armor, their skin barrier is dysfunctional, letting things get in. And we know these individuals have a higher risk for skin infections, but also water can get out. And so all those things you mentioned and more can absolutely worsen this condition, regardless of the time of year, which is why it's so important to have a regimen that we use over time to keep it under control.
That's so amazing that you have. I'm so glad that you're here because we have this interesting group locally on social media, and it's for moms. And I don't know why I'm on it, but I like to look. And there's moms that post photos of flare-ups on their kids' skin saying, "What is this?" So this is great information for everybody because not everybody understands what to do when they see something like that. And, sadly, not everybody has the means to rush their kids over to a doctor every time they see something like this. However, with something as important as eczema, considering we have so many millions of people that struggle with it, this is something that somebody should run and see a doctor immediately when they see something of this form, correct?
Yeah, I agree. This is one of those conditions that the sooner we intervene, the better. In fact, there's data showing that, especially for those who are at higher risk, meaning there's a family history of eczema or asthma, really being aggressive early on with those things I mentioned, like moisturizer to damp skin, minimizing soap use, can really limit the severity of disease. But even more importantly, those things aren't often enough. And that's where FDA-approved therapies are so hugely important. And that's where a board-certified dermatologist can really help out.
I love that information. Now, I have another question for you. Are people born with this, or can people develop it over time throughout their lives?
I'll go for either, all the above. So we do see this start very early on. However, of those adults who have atopic dermatitis being a chronic disease, anywhere from 15 to 20% can develop it as an adult.
Wow.
So this really does not discriminate across the spectrum of ages and beyond. So there's lots of opportunity for things to go wrong, but of course, opportunities to really make a difference using FDA-approved therapies to intervene and change that course.
I see. And as an adult, how would we know that we are developing eczema in our older years? Because the kids, they don't know what's going on, it just pops up. But
Sure.
How do we notice it coming on for ourselves so we can go get treatment?
Yeah, I think a good rule of thumb, if you develop a new rash that does not resolve with over-the-counter measures or is persisting longer than a couple weeks, it's great to go see a board-certified dermatologist or dermatology team to really assess, because the diagnosis of atopic dermatitis is a clinical one. There's no one thing that really tells us, oh, this is definitely the condition. So that's where really getting the help you deserve with a board-certified practitioner is of the utmost importance, because then they can direct you in terms of what you can expect down the road, but also get you on a treatment regimen that can include something like, for example, Zoryve or roflumilast 0.15% cream to really control those flares over time.
I can't tell you how much I'm appreciative of you being here with us, Dr. Friedman. This is Adam Friedman, a very big deal. I think you're a big deal. You've won awards. You have so many different accolades, and I could go on. It would take an hour to talk about. So we know you're an expert, so we appreciate all of your advice and information on eczema. We only have one body. Let's take care of it and love our skin that we are in. Thank you very much for being here. It's Dr. Adam Friedman, and take care of yourselves, everybody, and be sure you listen to all of these great tips from Dr. Friedman. We'll be right back with more Good Morning Vail right here on TV8.
Good morning, Vail.
It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
How do you make Anthony Edwards the face of your franchise if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves? We'll get into that.
And we say hello to our good friend Matt Verderam, who hangs out with us from SI.com. Their NFL insider, one of them, is hanging out with us on the program today. Did you see Caitlin Clark last night? She put up a 40-burger, hits the game-winning three as time expires. Let's turn our attention to the Denver Broncos, one of the NFL's most dysfunctional situations.
The Sports Wrap with Jason Page.
From
From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie and Astis.
Each week, we're going to focus on the great things that are happening every day in the USA. We'll feature change makers.
In every older person, there's a younger person saying, how did this happen?
Innovators.
I talk about design the way some people might talk about like the person they're in love with.
Doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
Welcome to Street Magic. I'm Elizabeth Stanton with some of the most terrifying stunts, extraordinary extreme escapes, and the most amazing cutting-edge magicians you'll ever see in one show. Get ready to have your mind turned inside out. The hand is definitely quicker than the eye.
It's fake.
Hi there. Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman, featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to your Tuesday edition of Good Morning Vail on TV8. I'm your host, Liz, and I have an amazing person sitting here next to me. Now, if you love art, I know art is, you know, it affects everybody differently, but there's something about the artist sitting next to me. This is Jennifer Hammond. And the work that you do, I think everybody would love, because it just brings you into this fantasy world, and the textures and the colors and the beauty of it all just makes you feel alive when you look at it. Right behind me is a piece of your work right now, and I mean, I know you love the aspens. I know you love to add some gold flecks and beauty into your work, and it makes you feel excited when you look at it. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and it makes me super happy. That should be a screensaver for everybody. I'm not kidding. So I've known you for several years, and you have been doing art for like all of those years. I know you used to do wedding planning.
For 15 years.
For 15 years,
yeah.
This is interesting. I was broken, and I put a note out on Facebook saying, does anybody want to take a gentle walk? And you popped up, and we didn't know each other.
We went snowshoeing.
And it was really fun, and we became friends from that. And then I've just watched you grow as an artist, and it's just been absolutely incredible. You started off with a little studio, and now you have a nice, big, beautiful studio in Minturn. Grand opening today, everybody, and I'm really excited. It starts at noon, right?
Noon to 7.
Noon to 7.
The Grove Studio and Gallery. It's next to Vail Mountain Coffee and Tea in the Meadow Mountain Business Park.
Oh, that's easy to
into
find.
Minturn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get yourself a caramel cookie and then go on over
I'll
to
be there all day.
Oh, this is going to be wonderful. Now, I have seen your studio. You walk in, and it's just a beautiful feeling. You have a very comfortable area. It's very aesthetic. And then, of course, you show your work, and that's what's great. So you have a walk-in studio, which is probably amazing for you because you've been on the road a lot, and you've been doing a lot of
art shows.
Art shows.
I've been on the road for 2.5 years doing art festivals around the country.
Wow.
It's ending this weekend with the Beaver Creek Festival, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That you have to mark your calendars down for, because I love the Beaver Creek Festival.
It's my favorite. I went for about 20 years as a patron, and
wow.
now I get to exhibit there with all the other artists. And it's
now, what
really
does that
exciting.
feel like to somebody like you that has been working so hard to get their name out there as an artist here in our community?
It's great. I get to be home, you know? I get to exhibit my work, which is typically aspen trees or more abstract impressionism of trees. and sit there on the ice skating rink all day.
Nice, right?
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, and you're also in great company with a lot of other artisans and stuff like that. But what made you get into, did you know you had a talent when you started all of this, or did you decide, I want to try something and see how good I am?
There was a middle school teacher named Wendy Satsky. She was at Minturn Middle School, and she invited me, along with several other women, to come over to paint one afternoon.
Aw.
And I said, well, that's ridiculous. I can't paint.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She said, no, just come over. We're just going to play. And that was the first time I ever experimented and started to learn a little bit about the materials and color and application.
What did it do to you? Awaken something in you? Or did you go where you're like, whoa, look at me. Oh my God, I can't believe I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be exciting to realize you have a talent.
I felt like I wanted to get more involved in process and less focused on the end product. And so we just spent some time getting curious about what the paint did when we messed with it.
Okay.
How we could, you know, we sprayed it with alcohol, we scraped it with pine cones,
Oh.
we just did strange things. And
So
then
for texture purposes.
For texture. I spent about 2 years in a studio in Red Cliff up in the schoolhouse over there, just
Aw.
playing around, and eventually developed what you see the
Oh my
this
God.
aspen tree painting.
I want
kind
to
of
lick it. It's so beautiful. I mean, that's how I feel. It's so gorgeous.
It's just kind of the
look at it.
dappled light that you get with the
Mhm.
aspen leaves up here in the mountains and the aspen groves. It's a almost two-dimensional expression of the aspen trees. There's no horizon. There's no treetop. It's just focused on that kind of sense of light that you get in the.
And that's what makes it magical, because you feel like you're just walking into a magical place. What drew you mostly to do aspen trees within your work? Because I mean, you can do 100 paintings, but they're all different and unique, but they are mostly of aspens. And my favorite tree is an aspen tree, to watch that flickering leaf.
The
I call
quaking,
the quaking.
aspen.
I call them sequins. 'Cause I
Yeah,
just, You know, I
Exactly.
just love those sequin trees. What drew you to them?
Lived here for 35 years.
Right.
I'm obsessed.
Okay,
I'm
there's-
always around the trees and
Yeah.
up in the forest. And
Okay,
yeah,
but you
it's
picked
great.
the aspens, which are incredible, because we do have others. But there's something magical about them, and when
Yeah.
a breeze comes, and you can feel it, and then you can get all of
You
that
hear
feeling. And then aspen trees, the one thing I learned about aspen trees, which I love, is underneath the ground, their roots are all connected.
Right.
So aspen trees are family.
The symbolism of it is pretty rad.
Yeah, I get the tingles from it when I think about it, because there's something really spectacular about that.
Right.
And I have been following your art, and you're also a magical writer. I don't know if you feel that within yourself, but you wrote something about the aspen trees. I don't know if you remember. It was a few weeks ago maybe, and I was just reading it, and I was so profoundly drawn in, because the way you describe how they make you feel is so profound, and it's really magical, because it's just, you go on a journey with not only your words but also your art. And I'm hoping one day you have a book with
Someday.
your poets. I call it poetry because I think you're very
I
poetic.
write poetry into the back of some of my work,
Oh
actually.
yeah. Look at that. I didn't even know. See that?
Yeah.
See how good I am at this stuff. I'm
It was
such a critic.
kind of a way for me to externalize strong emotion. I was experiencing some things, and I needed to get it out of my physical self and put it onto the canvas and let it live there. And
Nice.
And so I write poetry into the back of my
I
pieces.
think that's amazing, because you're giving two different doses of feelings. You really are. You're giving the look and then the mindset as well. And when people are not able to describe how a piece of work makes them feel, they can flip it over and see
Right.
how it makes you
See
feel,
what it
and then it
says.
can really emanate throughout their
Right.
mind and stuff. So I just think that's wonderful. And what do you have coming up besides the Beaver Creek Art Festival and is it year-round, your gallery?
That's it. The gallery's open year-round.
Yay.
I'm generally there every day.
Uh-huh.
A little less so this week, because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'll be up in Beaver Creek.
You've got to get over there, you guys. It's going to be a really, really wonderful day.
The timing is on artfestival.com. I'm not quite sure of the hours. It's
Okay.
something like 11 to 7.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm in Minturn. You can come by any day and check out my work. I've been
I think it's great.
playing with all new things. And
Does anybody ever bring you into their house and say, okay, I have this space. I would like to know what to do with it?
all the time. I do
Really?
custom work all the time.
See, that's important, because a lot of people, they might have the means and then they have the home, but maybe they're not sure, you know,
Right.
not everybody is
So I work in a variety of sizes. I do some really big work. I have a piece right now that's 10 foot by 4 foot.
Oh my gosh.
Variety of color palettes. So we really can do something that's custom to.
That's amazing. I have some friends, and I walked into their house one day and I saw a big old piece of your work. I was like super excited about that. It was really nice to see on their wall. So, you know, you're becoming recognizable, not just by somebody that's known you, but I mean, how does it feel to have a community excited about your work and wanting to bring it into their homes? I mean, I've also seen it. You have a picture, you have a painting in my chiropractor's office. So you're starting to get you were in there. I was like, that's a Hammond.
I'm around town.
I can picture that. I mean, but it's good that people can actually recognize your work because you do have a unique style. There's nobody that does what you do.
That kind of texture and light, even when I'm working in a more abstract expression of trees, it's still very similar to what you see behind you with all of that texture and all of that light source. Oh my gosh,
that's amazing. Now, if somebody was interested in seeing your work, obviously they can get on over to Minturn. Do you have a website?
I do. It's jenniferhammond.com. Jennifer has one N.
Yeah, that's the one thing everybody has to remember. Only one N and a Jennifer. But that's great. So jenniferhammond.com. That's nice and easy to remember. But you've got to check out this gallery. It's beautiful. It's cozy. It's warm and it's inviting. And it just feels good when you walk in. And then you get to chat with this lovely lady and see the most beautiful work. It's really, really outrageous. I absolutely love this piece. Between the blues and the gold and then the pop of black within the trees and everything like that. I absolutely love it. And I love your work and I think you're just wonderful and I'm really happy to have you here on Good Morning Vail so people can get to know you a little bit. And now that I know where you started, it's kind of neat and exciting to know that you have known about your talent for so long, since middle school. I can't thank you enough for being here with us, Jennifer. And it's jenniferhammond.com. Over in Minturn, say the name of the place that you're...
The Grove Studio
The
Gallery.
Grove, okay, I have to remember that. It's the Grove Studio, it's in Minturn.
Aspen Grove.
Oh, duh. Okay, now I won't forget. Okay, I just need a mnemonic device and I'm good to go. So listen, the grand opening of the Grove Studio in Minturn is today from noon on. You got to go check it out and enjoy some lovely artwork, enjoy this wonderful person's community, and all of the people that come in and enjoy your work. I can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Jennifer Hammond from the Grove Art Studio in Minturn. Get yourselves on over there today for the grand opening or year-round, and of course the Beaver Creek Art Festival taking place this weekend, kicking off on Friday. We'll be back with more Good Morning Vail right here on TV8.
Good morning, Vail.
I'm Danella Richard. I've made a career traveling the world. I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world.
Join us on the famous Leadville Railroad. This historic train ride takes you on an unforgettable trip through the heart of the Rockies for an afternoon of adventure, relaxation, and sightseeing. Our scenic train rides are a perfect place to bring families closer together while immersing them in the natural beauty and rich history of this picturesque region. Enjoy the spectacular Colorado scenery. Even meet the engineer. Make memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets available at leadvillerailroad.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to share a very special interview that Julio had this past week. It's something really important and very special for all of us to check out and see. It's Small Businesses for America's Future. The future is big, and we're going to find out how right now on TV8.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Now, if you are a small business owner in our community, you're going to want to pay close attention to our next guest, who's here to talk to us a little bit about the work he's been doing to support small businesses, to help create policy changes that will ultimately help small businesses thrive. Joining us this morning, we have owner of Kokoro Restaurant in Denver and council member of Small Business for America's Future, Mas Torito. Mas, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the air.
Yeah, a very important topic when it comes to small businesses and helping small businesses thrive. I know there's a lot of small businesses in our community, in our state, nationwide, and we kind of started seeing that surge kind of post-pandemic or you know, kind of this boom. Mas, what do you think contributed to that surge, or why have we, you know, all of a sudden started seeing so many small businesses?
Yeah, I think a big part of the reason why is that in COVID, we found out the resiliency of small businesses and small business owners. We knew that the relationship with our employees was number one, and that how we worked together was really going to be how we succeeded. And as we came out of the pandemic, that just held true. And we just worked together with our employees to try to do things as best we can.
Exactly. And I love that you mentioned the resiliency piece, because, you know, I can't imagine that, you know, all of the struggles coming out of a pandemic, trying to recover economically, and just, you know, all of the things that come with owning a small business. So I do think resiliency is the word, you know, for small business owners. It's definitely a very resilient community, and I think we've seen that, you know, post pandemic. Nonetheless, there are still a lot of struggles. There are still a lot of work to be done. I mean, you know, as you know firsthand. So let's talk a little bit about that and kind of some of the struggles that you still continue to see as a business owner yourself, or just kind of in the small business owner community in general.
Sure. I think we saw coming out of the pandemic that it was two big issues.
Yeah.
One was finding employees
Okay.
that were able to work, not necessarily wanting to work, but able to work, and dealing with the inflation costs that were surrounding us. Every which way you looked at, you couldn't even get CO2 delivered for carbonating your beverages without extra fees and charges being added on, because it's just so hard to operate coming out of the pandemic. So really, those are the two biggest issues that we face as businesses. And there's a lot of layers as to why those issues exist. But, you know, we're trying to do what we can to support small businesses with those issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned inflation. Obviously, that's been a huge topic recently these past few years, and that's obviously impacted a lot of businesses. Talk to me a little bit about that, and specifically the Inflation Reduction Act. How has that impacted your business, or again, just small businesses in general?
Yeah, it was one of those things that, again, coming out of the pandemic, is you just found every ingredient that you could be looking for increasing in price in ways that were just really hard to see fathomable. We couldn't get new terminals to handle the switch to drive-through. So that's one example of like, oh, you want to grow your business, but the price of goods is so high. Getting things out of the country was so hard. That it was hard to just grow your business. And then it's just the basic stuff. Our number one ramen dish, of course, comes with a boiled egg. But the price of eggs was, you know, like the mountains there in Vail, where it's just the price going up and down, but mostly trajectorying up on a high level. And it just became harder and harder to do simple acts of business, just like providing an egg in a ramen bowl.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, I think a lot of things skyrocketed due to inflation, and I know the impacts that has on small business. My family owns a small business, so I kind of know firsthand what some of those struggles are. Now, Mas, you recently attended the White House Business Leader Summit on July 25th last week. You know, these past couple of days you were there. Tell me a little bit about what was discussed, what came out of it, or what do you think is going to come out of that moving forward?
Yeah, you know, we met with the SBA Administrator, Isabel Guzman, and we also met with the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, Wally Adiemo, and a number of other of the high-up administrative people in the White House. And while it's an honor to get some time with them, it really was a two-way conversation, and that's really what the challenge is for our businesses is we need to be made aware of more some of the resources that the government provides for us.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the government needs to learn about some of the issues that small businesses face firsthand. There's always that expression that politicians many times won't know the price of milk. And this is our chance to tell them exactly what the price of milk is and how that's affecting our business.
Yeah, absolutely. Make those voices heard, right? Make the small business community voice heard. I know that's a lot of the work that you all try to do at Small Business for America's Future. You are also a small business owner, so you kind of know what some of these issues are, and you kind of know what you all need to feel supported, to feel like you can thrive. Are there any specific policies or policy changes, Moss, or any specific support that you would like to see from policymakers moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's something that you see in Vail, you see in Denver, you see across the country, which is the price of childcare just being so incredibly high.
Yes.
In the restaurants, we hire a lot of women as waitresses and cooks, and one big shift that's come out of the pandemic is just how many women have left the workforce to take care of the children. One, because finding childcare is so hard, or if you can be lucky enough to find it, it's just so astronomically expensive that it doesn't make sense to return to the workforce. So for our businesses to grow, we need to be able to hire quality employees, and childcare is one of those examples of something that we're really looking to have the government understand the concerns, and for us as employers to also know some of the things that the government's doing to try to help with those issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Childcare is definitely one of those issues that, as you mentioned, we see here in our area as well. I also know, Maz, that healthcare is another big thing for business owners, and being able to provide that to their employees. I know this is important to you. How do you manage it, or what kind of changes would you like to see there?
Sure. Well, we've always tried to manage it, and we've seen it as beyond something as far as a government concern or mandate. We've been offering insurance since we opened in 1986.
Wow.
When my parents first started our business. We see it as a fundamental right and something that you have for all your employees. That being said, the cost has increased astronomically over the years, and you find yourself having to make really, really hard decisions about deductibles and rates that really just makes insurance very, very difficult for your average employee, especially in the restaurant environment.
Yeah.
So one, I think reducing the costs of insurance is key, and increasing the access to insurance is also key. I think people still don't even know about some of the options that they have available to themselves. And then making some of the most basic care really standard, and say, we learned with COVID that you shouldn't have to wait a week for an appointment to get tested to see if you're sick or not, and then have really clear guidelines about what you can do to take care of yourself and when you're able to return to work without getting others sick.
Absolutely.
And there still seems to be a lot of work that can be done to make access more equitable and accessible to people.
Lots of important topics on the table when it comes to helping small businesses thrive. Lots of important work also happening, Moss, through yourself, through the work of the Small Business for America's Future. What would you say to any business owner, any small business here in our community that maybe is struggling with some of the things we talked today, or who maybe just feels like their voice isn't being heard, or who maybe just needs some encouraging words from someone who knows firsthand some of these issues?
Sure. I think one of the hardest things to get out of the mindset of a business owner is that you see everyone and everything as competition.
Yeah.
As a restaurant, you see the restaurant next to you, and you say, I can't talk to them about our similar issues because, I can't let them know about what we're doing, or vice versa. Instead, we have to realize that these are a number of issues that, when addressed properly, raise all boats.
Yeah.
And we all succeed when we start realizing the resources and the opportunities to grow that are out there. So getting to know your resources, and particularly your chambers,
Yes.
Chambers of commerce that are around you, getting to know your legislators, especially when you're a small business owner. Your legislators and your government representatives will want to get to know you. Of course, the instinct is to tell them all the problems you have, but maybe sometimes it's just, hey, come into my business and let's have a cup of coffee and talk about the things that you're offering, and let you hear the problems that we're having as operators, and you'd be amazed at the things that you can do when you just talk to one another.
Absolutely, keeping that open mind to talk, to learn, to connect, and I think that does open a lot of new doors for opportunity, for connection, and to help each other out. So if anybody is interested in learning more, you can always visit smallbusinessforamericasfuture.org. And Mas, thank you so much for joining us this morning to talk about some of these important issues.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with more of the show right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Vail.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, we see one couple fall in love with a waterfront fixer-upper.
It sort of wrapped its arms around us and said, you want me, and we did.
And watch as another battles over the budget.
We're trying to look through and see where we can trim at this point.
Are you looking to trim it, Ginger?
No.
No. Construction pros show us the right way to renovate.
Well, we had to do a roof over. We had to hand build a lot of the trusses.
As we're putting the thin set down, the self-leveler has a little clip that clips up underneath the edge of the tile.
Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
Join us in exploring the everyday lives of community members here in the Vail Valley. Hear their inspiring stories of how they came here, their contributions to our community, and why they chose to call this place home. We want you to be one of our neighbors. If you would like to be featured or nominate someone to be featured, please send an email to Danielle@tv8vail.com. We look forward to featuring your story right here on TV8.
Hey, it's your boy, Nephew Tommy, your host for an all-new season of Black College Quiz, where the nation's best and brightest display their knowledge of Black history and culture while competing for prizes and scholarships. So get ready to see HBCU Nation take the academic field. Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Yeah, man.
Good morning, Vail.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm lifestyle editor Chassie Post, and I'm so excited to tell you about Product of the Year. The largest consumer voted award for product innovation, determined by the votes of 40,000 real American shoppers. It's changed the game of shopping by awarding brands for best-in-class innovation and truly shoppers to best products in the market. Just look for that red seal. This year, there are a total of 46 winners, everything from home and personal care, food and beverages, and more. So I can't wait to share some of the winners. So Let's start with Quaker Fruit Fusion Instant Oatmeal. It is so delicious. It's real pieces for a burst of flavor, color, and nutrition. It comes in blueberry blackberry with a good source of antioxidants, strawberry peach with a good source of vitamin D, C, and zinc to support a healthy immune system, raspberry to support bone health. So next we have Titan XT shambles from Tan Building Products. They feature some of the most innovative technology available in a roofing product, including a 160 per hour
TVA Weather Center, and we're going to take a look at the bright and sunny day that we have ahead of us. Plenty of sunshine for everybody by 8 a.m. 59 degrees. Your high today is 83 degrees. Slightly windy today. And by noon, 76. By 4 p.m., 81 with full sunny skies throughout the entire day. By 8 p.m., 71 degrees with clear skies tonight. We take a look in Eagle, it's 89 degrees and sunny. Vail, 83 degrees and sunny. Over in Denver, it's 99 degrees, hot, 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 and sunny. Make sure you wear a hat and take care of yourselves with the sunscreen and all that good stuff. In Avon, 50% chance of precipitation at 85 degrees. Now we're going to take a look over and see what the week looks like, everybody. Sunny skies throughout Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, we're going to get a little cloud coverage with your temperature still in the mid-80s and your lows in the mid-50s. By Saturday, we're going to have a 30% chance of precipitation with partly cloudy skies, 82 degrees for your high, and your low is 54 degrees. And then we're going to have some afternoon thunder showers over on Sunday with 40% chance of that, 83 for your high, and for your low is 52 degrees. I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in to Good Morning Vail on TV8. Thank you to our guests. We learned a lot about our skin that we love to live in, and of course, Jennifer Hammond with her artwork over at the Grove Studio in Minturn. Make sure you get on out to the Beaver Creek Art Festival. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Liz for Good Morning Vail right here on TV8.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all.